לא יצאו עכשיו, אחי. הם לא יצאו בזמן הקרוב. לא. לא, הם לא יצאו משם, אז תבין, עכשיו רק מכניסים את האוטובוסים, הם יהיו בכלא, יכולים להיות כמה שעות. לא, החטופים לא מגיעים לפה. לא, לא נראה לי אפילו, מה? יכול להיות ל-12 בלילה. כן, בטח, הוא לידי. כן. אנחנו עומדים מתחת לאיתות.
אתה עומד פה בצד, בסדר? הנה, here.
יכול לעמוד פה קצת?
Arriba televisión! Yum.
חזק מאוד אצלך.
شايف انه اجى صديق من اول مش عارف نصيبه
זה לא 37 מטר, יש מצב. דירה במצב טוב. בעצם. זה יקרה. פרסמו 500. בתכל'ס זה אשתי אחראית על זה, אבל זה כולל הכל. עוד סטנדרט? יש גינה, אמיתי.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. Hello, always be kind, Nancy McMonarch. And let's see, not going away. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. We're just getting things started here. And matter of fact, let me put this way and bring up Chris. Chris, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you? How are you, Barry?
I'm cold, man.
Cold? Yeah.
I'm cold. Yes, I'm in a cold room on a cold night, but we got some things to talk about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It's all right. Not a whole lot going on, which is good, right? Quiet. That's the way we
Yeah.
want. We don't want a whole lot of turmoil and
Right. And we got enough turmoil,
that's for sure.
in my opinion. Okay. I want to start out, Chris, with a couple of things I covered Saturday night. Okay. The first one is this. Israel has an industrial printer that they are printing steaks and fish. Let me get this up here. Why is this not? Hang on. All right, here we go. This was the introduction to the world that they're doing this.
מדפסת תעשייתית שפיתחנו, שמיועדת להחליף משחטה. לשאלתך לפני כן, פה אנחנו טוענים את המדפסת הזו בתאי גזע, שאנחנו יודעים למיין לשריר ולשומן, והיא יודעת להדפיס טונות ביום.
טונות?
טונות של בשר מתורבת ביום. זה רק לשם ההמחשה, אתה תוכל לבחור את הסטייק שלך, והמדפסת תתחיל לשחרר סטייקים בקצב תעשייתי. סיריליון, אני לא יודע אם אתה אוהב יותר שומן או פחות שומן.
כך באמצע.
באמצע, view order, slide to print. ופה בעצם המדפסת מתחילה לייצר סטייקים.
סטייק הולדר.
סטייקים, הייחודיות פה היא שתאי הגזע נשארים חיים אחרי שהם מודפסים. סטייק יהיה מוכן בסביב הדקה. דקה. השלב פה הוא שווה ערך לשלב שבו הפרה נולדת בעצם. לפרה לוקח 2 עד שהיא נשחטת, היא מזהמת את העולם בתהליך. פה זה תהליך שהוא הרבה יותר קצר.
בלי שטח, בלי מים ובלי
בלי
כוח.
שטח, בלי מים, בלי חתימה פחמנית. בלי פלטות ובלי כלום.
איפה הסטייק?
הסטייק עכשיו מודפס, ועכשיו אנחנו נעבור
זה המקדונלדס של העתיד.
כן, זה המקדונלדס, זו הקצבייה והמשחטה של העתיד.
פאסט פוד.
וההפתעה פה בעצם, אנחנו משיקים היום גם את המדפסת הזו שהיא סמי תעשייתית, ובואו נעבור למדפסת השנייה, שזה השקה העולמית שלנו, שמדפיסה דג. אין עוד חברה שיודעת לעשות את זה. מכיל תאים אמיתיים, כ3 דקות להדפסה. לוקוס עם טקסטורה מורכבת. עכשיו אני אסגור אותה ונראה לכם כבר את זה מוכן. תן לה להדפיס, ככה זה נראה. ואנחנו נוציא את זה עוד רגע. פילה לוקוס מתורבת שהודפס מבלי בעצם להשתמש בדג עצמו.
זה מוכן, אפשר.
פעם ראשונה בעולם שדבר כזה קורה.
אני אומר ככה, עכשיו מה? טוב,
אפשר להמשיך, זה טעים.
All right, what do you think?
I won't be eating it.
The thing that really troubled me was where they said fast food.
Like who in their right mind would even think of eating something like that? That's no. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't be eating that. You can forget that.
Bill Gates is trying to grow beef in a laboratory, or trying to create beef in a laboratory. They've done supposedly artificial chicken. The thing, I don't trust that. They say it's made with cells and fat from cows. And they're going to make tons and tons. Well, what's the rest of it? Is it plastic? Is that why we're using a 3D printer?
I like my fish from the ocean.
Exactly. All right. One other story that we've already touched on. I did this Saturday night. There's a Russian satellite up there. The satellite is Cosmos 2570. It deployed an object on October the 30th. And then radar measurements indicated that it deployed a second object November 23rd near the same location. The thing that happened in Maui, people were talking about it was a space laser because certain colors weren't affected, blah, blah, blah. What are we seeing here? What is Russia doing? What are they dropping from their satellites or deploying from their satellites in basically, it seems like right next to each other and in the same orbit?
Tell you the truth, I couldn't begin to tell you, Barry. That's a Space Force question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I brought it up, because neither one of us are going to know anything about this, but
Right.
are there things going on in space that will benefit somebody in warfare? Should we assume that to be the case?
Of course, of course. That's why we have the Space Force now, right?
Yeah,
So
that's my
it's
opinion. I just wanted yours. That's what I think.
right.
The Pentagon's claiming that 5 terrorists who were captured yesterday by the crew of the USS Mason. For those that don't know, a lot of hijacking's been going on off the coast of Yemen, and the U.S. Navy got involved yesterday with the USS Mason, and they supposedly captured 5 terrorists attempting to hijack the Israeli-linked chemical tanker MV Central Park, and they're actually not Houthis from Yemen, but instead the Navy is claiming that they are Somali pirates.
Well,
And
that would make sense, right?
this,
They think look at the proximity of Somalia to Yemen. It's not that far off,
okay, hang on a
right?
second. We'll do that. Let me go to Ukraine. Actually, I should have went to Beirut, but yeah, let me go to Beirut, and we'll show. Zoom out here on the map, and Yemen is here. Somalia is right across the Gulf. All right, it's not like it's the article said it's nonsense that they would be Somali. To me, it makes sense that they're Somali because they've been pirating for a long time. Why would the
Right.
Yemens not? Why would the Yemens not ally with them?
There you go, right? And the
Okay,
proximity, like I said, Yemen to Somalia, it's not that far, as you can see.
right, just across the Gulf.
Exactly. So, you know, it would make sense to even, hey, you know what? Can you help us out with this? You guys are a little bit more. You have a little bit more expertise, so we'll let you. We'll pay you to do it for us. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and 2 ballistic missiles were fired at the destroyer from Yemen after we took the 5 people captive.
Yeah. Well, my understanding is that those missiles didn't even come close.
They
Like they
didn't
all
come
fell
close.
short.
No, they were
Yeah.
fired at it, but no, it didn't come close.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
it's kind of like they did that before. Like it was supposed one of those missiles was supposed to go to Israel and landed up in Egypt, killing some Egyptians. It's like,
yeah.
man, it's like you're a bunch of ass clowns. Can't make sure your missiles hit your intended target. That's like 3
But
of them.
wouldn't we also assume that Iran is keeping the good missiles for themselves and sending them not the greatest?
Well,
I mean, isn't that kind of what's being shown?
yeah, to a certain extent, but at the same time, Iran wants them to be effective, right?
Right,
You don't want when your proxy forces not to be effective.
right,
You see?
right.
So I don't know what they're doing in Yemen or what type of rock or what type of missiles um, Iran is giving them. It looks like they're giving them some duds to a certain extent. Um,
Speaking of which, I don't have a backup for this, or actually, is something to show people that this is actually true. But the Russians are complaining about the ammunition they got from North Korea. That it
but they give them
is,
bad ammo.
yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to go back to the Twitter scroll here, and just every once in a while we like to do something either funny or educational, and this is what happens when you blow a bubble like all of us did as kids. This is what happens when you do it when it's freezing. A little science there. I had no idea it did that. All right, now back to the real world. White House has confirmed that there's a 4-day ceasefire. The 4-day ceasefire has been extended by 2 days.
And
Extended.
yeah, so it was extended for 2 days, right?
Right.
Let's see. My understanding is that Israel kind of wants to
I
break
didn't
that
even show
ceasefire.
that tag on it. I got to show that again, man. I talked about it and then I didn't show it. What happened? Why did I? Oh, I know what happened. I hit the wrong button. Hang on a second. Let me get back over there. Apologies for the production errors, guys. Here's what a bubble looks like when it's blown up in the winter. And I was talking about it and not even letting you guys see. My apologies. That's pretty cool. And once again, there's our science for the night. Okay. What were you saying about the extension, Chris?
Oh, lost my train of thought. It must not have been that important, but
okay. Well, what we know is so far today, and I thought maybe 1, maybe 2 groups of hostages, but we are at the 4th group, I believe, and 11 freed today, and all of them are Israelis with joint citizenship. 33 Palestinians were released. We showed a little bit of that. That means so far Hamas has released 69 hostages. They agreed to 50. They've released 69, and Israel's freed 150 Palestinians. But Hamas is, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Hamas is saying that 40 of the hostages are not in Hamas control.
So whose control are they?
Where is it? Oh yeah, we got to touch on that too. I would guess, according to the BBC, these are 5 of the organizations that aided Hamas on October 7th. The Abu Ali Mustafa Brigade, the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades, the Omar al-Qassam forces, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the Mujahideen. So I would guess they were probably being held by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad or the I don't, maybe the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. I don't know.
Maybe all
But
5.
somebody, huh?
Maybe all 5.
It may be all 5. Maybe all of them have hostages of their own. But and while we're talking about it, I brought up the idea. I brought up the idea of a 3-to-1 prisoner exchange is what's been going on,
Right.
and why is it 3-to-1?
Do you know what? I couldn't even begin to tell you that one my damn self. It's normally 1 for 1. Do you remember what happened when who was that basketball player, female basketball player?
Brittany Griner.
Right. So do you remember when we did the swap for Victor Boot?
Right. We gave up a really, really bad acting dude.
Yeah. So the swap was what, 1 for 1, right?
Right.
All right. So I can't figure out why the swaps here aren't 1 for 1. All right. Unless you say it's one Israeli for every 3 Palestinians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know the rationale behind it. I really
I
don't.
mean, I understand that, um, Israel's holding a lot more Palestinians
True.
than Hamas is holding Israelis. So I understand that. And I understand that Israel can get any more. I mean, they can just grab prisoners. They are. It's ongoing. They're imprisoning people from the West Bank and East Jerusalem, even during the ceasefire. So it's not like, they're emptying the jails or anything. They've got plenty to exchange, but I just don't understand why the 3-1
Well,
thing
here,
was.
so here's the thing. Some of their prisoners, haven't even been charged. They're really just being
Yeah,
detained.
yeah, they've just been held without being charged.
Right.
A lot
So
of the people getting released. So that's really not,
that's not really like they should have been released anyway. You know. So,
yeah,
but the big ones, I think the other Palestinians, like maybe the fighters, but I really don't think there are too many of them. I think I think Israel like just locks up people just to lock them up and calls them terrorists, even though they're not. They really haven't done anything. You know, we've got all these terrorists locked up, but like what they did, well, they threw rocks at our tanks, so and they threw rocks at our people and our soldiers, so they're terrorists and they're like, it's like, come on, like really, you're gonna release these people like that? Like you see,
yeah, yeah.
come on, if you're gonna, if you got real terrorists, well, what do you do? Well, they plant some IEDs and or they they were shooting at my IDF, and doing hiding, doing hit and run tactics, stuff like that. Make it legit, but don't sit there and say,
Yeah.
I got this 12-year-old kid, and what do you do? Well, he threw a rock at us, so he's a terrorist. Okay, dude, like stop. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But they'll do that though, you see, and say, yeah, we're gonna release these terrorists. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Um, I showed earlier the fact that Russia has deployed 2 objects which are orbiting, uh, that we're not sure what they are. I'm not sure what this is either. And have you seen anything like this or any idea what this might be? The guy says fire in the hole. So it can't wait. Is this some kind of mind clearing device or something? Any idea?
It reminds me of a movie I saw some time ago where the
Tremors? The big worms?
yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first saw it. I thought, oh man, this is Tremors. But
I was like,
the guy says fire in the hole, and then it starts at the top of the hill. So I'm wondering if it's like it's either a mind clearer, or you get a convoy on a road with this underneath it, and you just massacre the entire convoy. Is what I mean. That's my analysis of it. I have no idea what it is. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, if it's like a route clearing package type thing, it could definitely, I could definitely see that. You put it underneath the mines or the IEDs, and they'll just blow them all up while it's doing it. There's a whole lot of technology out here, Barry, that I'm not even familiar with.
I know. And it's like, we're speculating, obviously.
Right.
Senior Hamas leader Mahmoud al-Zahar describes the existence of Jews in the land of Israel as a quote unquote cancer and claims that the land is Arab and Islamic, therefore Jews should be ethnically cleansed from it and leave. The only reason I brought this up is because just to reinforce that both sides, there are people on both sides that want the other side completely exterminated.
True. So he's talking about Jews, but I really think he's really pointing the finger at Zionism and the Zionists. I don't think he really means Jews, per se, but it's more like Zionism. But I kind of remember we talked about Zionism and the ideology of it, and
Right.
making a Jewish state. Well, you have to keep in mind the Zionists came with that first. You see, to make this a Jewish state and get rid of the Arabs and the Palestinians. The Arabs and the Palestinians weren't even like that. You see, so it was
Before
only
the
later.
Zionists
So
got there.
right, so it was only later on that they were like this. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of all the Jews and the Jewish state because that's what the Zionists said they were gonna do to them. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get rid of you. Right, so we're gonna make it equal.
Saturday night, I played a segment, just a brief part of a segment about the Rothschilds, and in 1917, their appeal to the British Crown for the land of Palestine, and the one Rothschild guy that in the beginning of it, he said, "My family created Israel."
Yeah.
So yeah.
His family created him and Theodore Herzl, probably worked together. But like I told you, that wasn't their main place, right? I think I talked to your audience about Uganda.
They actually wanted to go to Uganda, or
Right.
or the UN wanted them to go to Uganda, right? And they said, no, we're going to Israel. Wasn't that it?
No. Herzl, Theodore Herzl, I think his first, there were like three choices, right? And I think Uganda was the second choice. I have to research and find out what the first choice was.
Yeah. I should have dug into that, and I totally spaced it this weekend. I've been having sinus headaches and stuff, and I should have done a little more research on that to find out what the alternatives were.
Right, but Uganda was the second choice. Uganda, they're like, yeah, we're going to go to Uganda, and I'm just like, no, not quite. And I told you, Herzl was, he was an atheist. So an atheist, basically, an atheist is God doesn't exist.
Right.
But they marketed the whole
concept of Zionism.
Yeah, and we're God's chosen people, and like stuck. So you got people to buy into it, right? And here they are. That's how it worked, right? And then they came in and did what they did to the Arabs and the Palestinians. So,
and it's still going on.
Right, exactly. So, like I said, you can't expect the Arabs and the Palestinians or the Palestinians not to want to fight back. That's ridiculous.
Right. Yesterday was the busiest day ever in the United States at airports, with 2,884,783 people being screened by TSA. 51,332 scheduled flights, and less than 0.5% were canceled. So that's what it looked like at the peak above the United States with plane traffic yesterday. It's amazing to me that we don't have more incidents.
Yeah, or maybe they're just not reporting them to us. I'm sure with all those people traveling, trust me, I'm sure there's plenty of incidents, right? They're just not reporting them to the public.
Just because this is this lady, the lady in the green bathing suit here, was arrested by this police officer because she just had an orgasm and was stressed out. So she was masturbating on a Georgia beach, and the police officer arrested her. That's just one of those, only on Twitter will you see this.
But once again, it goes to show you about our society and the dysfunction and just totally dysfunctional.
Well, and there's a little bit of privilege and entitlement there too, in that, I should be able to masturbate on the beach if I want to, kind of attitude that most people don't have.
but that's just no.
Yeah, I do. The Iowa Republican evangelical leader told his followers today, 5 hours ago, that Trump is conning them and says, "I'm done." And this is an underlying thing that's starting to rumble, that the landscape of the Republican Party might finally be changing, and the realization that trying to ride the coattails of the orange one may not be the best political strategy.
So I wonder who put him up to that. It's kind of like trying to split the party. You see.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder who put him up. I wonder how much money they gave him if they did for him to come out and say something. You see, it like, hey Barry, listen, it's all a bunch of BS. It really is. It's in for people's best interest. Who how much money can I get out of this? Right? It's never about the people. It's always about them.
Yes.
They're a bunch of. No, it's always about them and what they can get out of it. It's never about the constituents, ever.
And it wouldn't be a world situation report, a world set rep, without mentioning North Korea has deployed weapons to South Korean borders, and Seoul is preparing to do the same thing. Any comments?
Like I said, I think North Korea talks a lot of mess. I think they just like to get things. They like to provoke, and then they pull back to see what type of response they're going to get.
Okay.
Because they really haven't done anything yet. I mean, what they were shooting they were shooting missiles, at Japan there for a minute there, right?
Yeah. A few months back. Yeah.
I mean, just to let's see what type of response I can, they're like little kids,
Okay.
They really are.
What about this guy? An expert has warned that Russia is about to conduct a nuclear strike against Berlin.
Man, but what would their justification be for doing something like that?
To cut off, this is just my analysis. It would kind of cut Europe in half, Western Europe in half, and it would lessen the chance of other European countries. Germany could not come to the aid of Poland or Ukraine if necessary. United States has a lot of troops in Germany. An attack on Germany would be an attack on us, and I would assume a nuclear attack on us would either precede this or shortly follow. If Russia's planning to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Russia would get hammered with tons of nukes.
Yeah, unless they hit us first.
If they hit us first, but that'd just be like pretty much the end of civilization as we know it, because all the nukes would just come out and that's it. One country gets hit, well, all the rest get hit too. If Russia ever unleashed some nukes on Germany, best believe everyone else who has nukes that's totally against Russia is going to hammer Russia too. So Russia would be gone, Germany would be gone, everyone would be gone. So just.
Do you think it would work that way, Chris? Do you think once somebody unleashes a nuke, everybody's going to unleash their nukes?
Oh yeah, just that especially if that's a NATO thing. Yeah, yeah. Not just one country's gonna do it. A whole bunch of countries are gonna do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. One final topic for tonight, and we've touched on this topic before, and if you'll kind of reiterate the idea of the petrodollar and the significance or the necessity of the petrodollar for the U.S. economy.
Well, see, it's not really a necessity. Well, it is a necessity, but it's really not. So, I think we're going off of gold for a minute there. Is that correct?
Yeah, we
Correct me
did.
if I'm wrong. Yeah, we're going
Yeah,
off of gold.
we started out on the gold. Yeah, that you could turn your money back in for gold. We got away.
Right.
I think that was it was either Roosevelt or right before Roosevelt, I believe.
Mhm.
Right before
Right.
the Second World War, between World War I and World War II, I think is when we went off the gold standard.
Right. So, and then it changed, from the gold to I don't know exactly when we switched over to the petrodollar, but I do know
Yeah.
this.
We haven't
If
officially. I mean, that's not. We're not officially on the petrodollar. It's just the petrodollar. If people decide to start trading in other currencies, America's dollar is going to devalue sharply and quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to put it up against something. Is that correct? And that's going to be the oil.
Probably. And
Yeah.
UAE has officially stopped using the dollar for oil trades. Came
See,
in
and
3 hours
see,
ago.
okay, all right. So, that's bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's
so
because the UAE is just going to be the first. They're not going to be the only one that has done that. Once they do it, I mean, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, these are the oil places. And once one of them goes off, they all go off. That's
I
my
wonder.
fear.
Yeah, because and I think what UAE has joined BRICS, or they
They
are
joined BRICS. They joined BRICS in January.
right. So, who knows? Russia could be sitting up there saying, "Hey, you're a
It's
Russian
either going to
target."
be it's either going to be the Russian currency or the Chinese currency, I would guess.
Right, and I wonder who's actually behind them saying to the UAE, "Hey, you know what? Drop the dollar." You know,
Yeah.
because like countries, I
We,
mean, they just don't just do things, on their own. There's
right.
usually
And
somebody,
we've been talking about this for 2 years about how the rest of the world would take us down. And it seems to
right,
me like it's happening.
right. So maybe Russia and China got together and was like, and even Iran, was sat there and said, "Hey, why don't you just go ahead, stop using the dollar,
And
and see what
let's
happens."
see what happens.
Yep, let's see what happens.
All right.
Might be a probe, to see how the United
Yeah.
States responds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And see how they respond, and then and then all the rest of how all the rest of those OPEC countries can gauge what to do based off our response. You see,
Yeah.
so they're not stupid, man. They're not stupid at
No.
all.
No, and I'm thanking everybody watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching at your convenience, no matter what platform you're watching, because you're not stupid either. You're watching because we give you information that you're not going to find in a lot of other places, and a lot of that information comes from our friend Chris. Chris, thank you so much for being here as always, man.
Hey, Bear, I thank you for having me on your show. Hopefully, next time we can talk about Venezuela and Guyana, because
We need to, yes, Yes,
That's
yes.
something else that we really need
I
to discuss.
mentioned it Saturday night, and I said we would talk about it tonight. Wednesday night, we will start out with it, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, man. See you 9 o'clock Wednesday night.
Will do. You take care.
All
Everyone
right, thank you.
everyone should have a good night. All right, take care, everyone.
That's our man, Chris. And again, thank you all for being here. As always, thank you for watching. We've talked about what happens with the petrodollar, and it seems the United Arab Emirates have made the first move. We'll see what happens from here. And hopefully you'll join us Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk, as Chris said, we're going to talk about what's going on between Venezuela and Guyana. And we're going to be looking right over here in South America. I mentioned this the other night. You see borders that are solid between Venezuela and Colombia, between Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil. But between Venezuela and Guyana, the borders are dotted because Venezuela is trying to claim 80% of Guyana, and the 80% they're trying to claim has oil, gold, and other natural resources. We'll get more in depth with that coming up Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And again, hopefully you will be with us. Thank you for being with us tonight. Shalom, shalom, assalamu alaikum, namaste. Blessings be upon all of you that so desire them, and I wish them upon all of you. And man, it's getting to be a dark world. Remember peace. Remember love. I love y'all. See you Monday night. Thanks for being here. It's a dark world. Try to be a light.